evening. Thank you for joining us. This is an English edition of news from Dalsan TV with me, Eunice Teko. These are some of our top news headlines. Al-Shabaab militants banned vehicles in central Somalia. TikTok influencer Bilal Bulshawi shot by unknown gunmen in Mogadishu. And President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud mourns Mama Hasna Abdullah. Welcome to this broadcast from Dalsan TV. Al-Shabaab militants have on Saturday morning launched an attack in central Somalia. Fighters of the group attacked Afar Irdod on the outskirts of Beledweyne, according to local sources. The town is located approximately 30 kilometers from Beledweyne. According to the residents, the militant group banned close to 10 vehicles with civilians and opened fire on the occupants of the vehicles. The total number of people killed is 17 people, including men, women, and children, and 7 cars were burned, said one of the residents. The victims were drivers and passengers transporting food supplies from Beledweyne to Mahas. A total of 7 trucks carrying food were also set ablaze by the militant. The militants in the past have destroyed drinking wells and communication equipments in parts of central Somalia. This incident comes as the Somali military and the self-organized militia known as Mawisley launched a military offensive against the militant group. The local militia, which are not part of Somalia's security forces, have helped Somalia fill the security vacuum in the newly liberated areas. State-aligned militias helped to offset the weakness of Somalia's security forces, producing greater motivation and better intelligence and enhancing bonds with local communities. Meanwhile, unknown gunmen have shot and injured famous Somali TikToker and influencer Bilal Bulshawi. Bulshawi was shot by men armed with pistols last evening at a restaurant at Banadir Junction in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. The office of Mogadishu's police force told the Dalsan TV that the case is an ongoing investigation. According to the elder brother of the social media celebrity who described himself as the president of TikTok, Bulshawi was shot 3 times. Witnesses said the gun jammed after firing the 3 rounds that also injured a friend who accompanied Mr. Bulshawi. The assailants disappeared from the crime scene shortly after the attack. The social media influencer has over 1 million followers on TikTok and has received over 18 million likes on TikTok. This is what his brother said while speaking to Dalsan TV.
Wallahi dad dhalinyaro iska bulshaabiyo social iska aha ummadda ma dhibaateeyo.
My brother is doing well. He is responding well to medicine. How he survived is a miracle. He is a young man. He is a young social man. He is a peaceful man. I am unable to understand why someone will shoot him 3 times.
Meanwhile,
President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has condoled and sent a message of condolences and comfort to the Sharif family following the death of Mama Hasna Abdullah Isaq. Mama Hasno is the mother of former president and founder and leader of Himilo Qaran political party, Sheikh Sharif Sheikh Ahmed. In his message of encouragement, President Hassan Sheikh described Mama Hasno, who died while receiving treatment at Dubai Hospital, as a devoted, generous mother and a close-knit family and contributed immensely to the progress of our community. She was flown in from Dubai to Mogadishu on Saturday before she was laid to rest in Johar as she had requested. Johar is the hometown of former President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. It is the capital city of Hirshabelle State and also serves as the administrative capital of Middle Shabelle region of Somalia. The top student in the 2022 Unified Somali Federal Secondary School exams has been awarded at an event in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Khalid Abdullah, who comes from a humble background, became the first candidate and performed exemplary well during the 2022 National Secondary School exams.
Khalid Abdullahi Muhammad, a student at Iftin Wartanabad Secondary School in Mogadishu, who emerged the overall best candidate in the country during this year's National Federal Unified Secondary School exams, has been awarded. Khalid was ranked the top student among over 33,000 students who sat for the exams. He was celebrated and awarded by the school, the Banadi Regional Administration and officials from the federal government at an event in Mogadishu. The Minister of Youth and Sports of the federal government of Somalia, Mohamed Bare Mohamud, while speaking at the ceremony, encouraged students to work extra hard in order to improve their grades and position.
Education is a long journey. Congratulations for the good performance. We wish you well in your future endeavors. I encourage you to work hard.
Wartanabada District Commissioner Zainab Mohamed Orsame said she was impressed that the country's overall candidate comes from her district. She called on students in the country to work extra hard in order to achieve good grades. The leadership of the district is happy and impressed with the exemplary performance during this year's secondary school exams. The Somali capital Mogadishu is indeed proud of you for being the best student countrywide. 35,000 national secondary school students across Somalia had been registered to take part in exams in June, conducted in exam centers in Jubaland, Galmudug, Hirshabelle and Southwest states as well as the Banadi region. The Federal Ministry of Education and their state counterparts have been commended for delivering credible national exams which have shown tremendous progress for the 7th year consecutively. In Somalia, since the collapse of the central government in 1991 and the education sector was disrupted, schools used different curriculums and grading systems until 2014 when the government unified all academic curriculums and exams conducted in the country. The number of students examined in the Unified National Examination has grown steadily in the last 7 years, from 3,500 students in 2015 to 35,000 this year.
Meanwhile, speakers of African legislative assemblies who had converged in Johannesburg for 2 days have concluded their meeting. The assembly, also attended by Somalia's Speaker of the Lower House, deliberated on strengthening food security in the African continent.
A 2-day conference of speakers of African Parliament has concluded today in South Africa. The Speaker of the House of the People of the Federal Government of Somalia, Sheikh Aden Mohamed Madowi, attended the summit, calling on African leaders to strengthen continental, regional and national commitment to end malnutrition in all its forms, given the increase in morbidity and mortality related to malnutrition and the associated socio-economic impacts. The Speaker, in his address to the conference, noted the impact of climate change in the Horn of Africa and called for more effort to curtail food shortage facing the continent of Africa. Mr. Madowi said this can be achieved through the establishment of laws that strengthen production. Speaker Madowi praised the importance of a wide cooperation to prevent repeated droughts, and he hoped that something useful will come out of the meeting, and also thanked everyone who participated. The conference is held on the margins of the August sittings of the permanent committees of the 6th Parliament in Midrand, South Africa, guided by the African Union theme for 2022, strengthening resilience in nutrition and food security on the African continent. The objective of the Conference of Speakers is to promote coordination and harmonization of parliamentary action and advocacy in relation to the national and regional implementation of the African Union theme of the year 2022, ratification of African Union treaties and sustainable responses to the socio-economic consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Speakers' Conference follows the 4th meeting of the Association of Secretaries General of African Parliaments, which was held on the last 2 days of August.
The President of Southwest State, Abdul Aziz Hassan Mohammed, left again on Saturday held talks with a delegation by the United Nations Humanitarian Affairs Chief, Mr. Martin Griffiths, in Baidoa, the administrative capital of Somalia's Southwest State. In a brief statement, Laftagaren said he had discussed the drought-related issues and the ways to assist the communities affected by the severe drought in the region with the delegation. In a statement, he said, "Today, we held a meeting with UN Relief Chief, the UN Deputy Secretary General, and head of OCHA, highlighted state humanitarian situation, which is on the brink of famine, discussed response efforts and the need for OCHA to pay close attention to the unfolding dire situation in Southwest states, said the statement. The meeting was attended by the regional ministers and chief of the staff at the state presidency of the Southwest state. Somalia is currently witnessing one of the worst droughts in recent history. More than 1 million people have already been displaced by the drought, according to the United Nations. The UN said more than 7.7 million Somalis, nearly half of the country's population, need humanitarian assistance because of the drought. And with that story, we come to the end of this broadcast, an English edition of news from Dalsan TV, covering latest news from Somalia and around the world. My name is Eunice Teko. Until we meet again, keep it Dalsan TV for the latest news from Somalia and around the world in both English and Somali.